Hey everybody, I am making this video not because I'm the best person to make it, but because I couldn't find any videos on this subject, and I'm going to give you all the information on what I did just in case you have to do the same thing. So for family reasons, we went and bought a 2011 Honda Odyssey that's in reasonably good shape. I'm going to need that to show you the part numbers, but when we got it, it had these chrome garnish bars on the outside of the van. My wife did not like them, so we looked into getting them replaced out. Pulling that aftermarket garnish off would obviously ruin what's underneath it. The 3M underneath there is just disgustingly sticky, and it won't come off. As a matter of fact, I can show you the ones that I tried on the other side. But what I did was I looked the internet over. I couldn't find those parts anywhere on the Honda website, on any of the parts websites, so I took it into a body shop and got an estimate. Well, with that estimate, they gave me all the part numbers that I needed. They wanted $600 to change them out, and I thought that was ridiculous. So I went online and I bought the parts myself after finding out what the part numbers were, and I replaced them. I replaced them myself. So you get, if you want to do both sides, you get the top trim, which you have to take off, and I'll show you in detailed steps how to do this. You get pillar B, pillar C, this top garnish, and pillar D. That's what I got, and I'll give you the part numbers here, left and right. But get ready to pause your video here in a second, and I'll show you. And then I'm going to show you how to actually replace all of that on this side. Okay, so if you want to pause your video, here are the part numbers to get that done. Okay, without further ado, we'll get to it. So as we get started on this front pillar, first thing you have to do is take this top chrome piece off. And to do that, it's fairly simple. You just kind of easily and gently pull the rubber away from the door. And then back here, as you pull it away, there is a screw that holds that top piece in place. Now just be careful with this. If you just kind of tug it and pull it in different directions, it'll eventually come. Just take your time and kind of pull it a little bit at a time, and it just comes right off. Once that comes off, you can see the little nipple that goes right in there, and that's how you get it off. Just so slowly, be gentle with it. Kind of work your fingers up underneath it and work it back and forth, and it will come. And then that's the screw we want to undo to release the outside chrome. Once you undo that screw, then you can start slowly, and this is stuck with that 3M stuff, so you can just slowly start pulling this away. And I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. But it obviously it ruins this piece, that's why we ordered another one. Alright, so after you get done tugging all that stuff off, you've obviously got that nice little 3M there. In the next video, you'll see that I've taken a razor to it and gotten that down as far as I can, so the other one, the new one, can stick effectively. But I'm going to continue pulling that off, and you got to be careful down there because it does go underneath that pillar slightly, but you don't need to remove that pillar. It'll wedge up underneath there with a little flathead screwdriver. All right, next video, we'll be ready to take that back pillar off. Okay, so we got the chrome off, and we've gotten most of the glue off, and now it comes time to take the pillar off. And now the pillar is fastened on with some 3M too, but if you can, try to unstick that 3M and just lift it up. If not, just pull the thing off. I mean, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You can, well, I can't do it with one hand, but you could pull it straight out. I'll show you what it looks like underneath it here in just a second. So since we're not using it anymore, those are the clips. When I said you can pull it straight out, those are the clips that go in there, and they kind of just seat down in these areas. I pulled it off on the other side, and the only thing that I had to do was come in and kind of push these edges back in, just so the next one will seat, because it does pull that metal away just a little bit. But the other one just goes in, slides down. Make sure you're aligned here, and then make sure before you seat this thing that it's all the way down. Look at your other side door, because there's space down here that it fits down into, and that's critical when you go to put your screw back in. So I'll show you that here in just a second. So what I'm going to do is make sure that the top fits the top and the bottom fits the bottom. Then I'm going to put the bottom in first and seat it all the way down. That area right there is the key to getting everything squared away and aligned up here when you put the chrome on. So this is simple. Just close the door for this. Make sure my plastic is in there. But all you got to do, make sure your little nipples are aligned and in. Hard to do with one hand again. I'll put it in and then I'll come back to the video. All right. Okay, so once it's on, note right down there it's seated flush, and then there's a little pull tab for your 3M strip. You can just, after you seat it on, you can just grab that little strip and pull it all the way off, and it just comes on out. Don't worry about pulling it off before you get it on there. Just seat it down and get it in there the right way. Okay, so the chrome is next. So the chrome is very easy. It has ridges on either side that you want to fit right in there. And I obviously can't do it with one hand, so I'm going to put the camera down, show you how to do it, line it up, and I'll show you the finished product. But it's very simple, just to wedge it down. Along the way, I want you to note how many tools I've used in this whole thing. So far, I've used a flathead screwdriver to get the old one off. I've used a Phillips head screwdriver to get that one bolt off, and I've used a razor blade to get the glue off. So that's what I'm at right now. All right, be back in a minute. Okay, so what I did with this chrome was I put the top lip on first, and I wedged it all the way down. The next thing I did was I pulled this pillar piece away a little bit and seated it underneath there, right? And then it kind of held itself just a little bit. I came and I pulled the 3M strip out of the bottom, and then I started manhandling the bottom on, and you can feel it snap into place when that bottom lip gets under the door, and then we're done, right? So the next thing is that screw right here, and I'll just get it started a little bit, or not. 2 hands, be back. Okay, so the screw went in, and the seal, when you go to put the seal back in, get the bottom back up under the lip. If you look at it, you can see that there's a bottom lip and a top lip. Just seal the bottom, a couple inches, and then get the top in there, get the bottom in, get the top, but make sure that's in there all the way, or you're going to get some serious buffering noise while you're going down the road. But that door is done with the minus of my sticky, and that's how it'll look when it's done. I'll do the back now. So back's almost the same, but just a little bit different, and I'll show you the ins and outs. Okay, for the back, I have found that if you roll the window down, you're going to have an easier go of it. Again, you can just look at the way it's seated now. You don't have to take this bottom one off. You don't have to take the back one off. You can look up here. This one's obviously going to have to come off, but there's a screw right there that you're going to need a funny wrench, slim wrench to get to, and I've got a socket. I forget the millimeter, but you get your screw in that socket, and that ought to do it. And then over here, You probably don't need the socket, but I'm going to use the other one, and there's another screw right there. So let's go ahead and take this off and I'll show you what it's like. Okay, a couple things when we were taking this top one off. If you notice, it's got a bottom lip that is pretty seated. But again, if you just pull it, it comes out. Down here, I wanted you to be aware that there is a little nipple in the side wall here that you might have to, I just broke it off, so we'll see how that goes. But that was sealed up in there, and that's probably to prevent that from reverberating, but we can take care of that if we need to. All right, guys. Again, you just want to pull those straight out. There's one that I need to get out there, so I'll get my flathead on that and pull it out. And just, well, there I grabbed the chrome and not the plate, but it just pulls right straight out. And there it is when it's done. All right, let's get them off and we'll go to putting them back on. Okay, so I got all the nipples out of there. As a matter of fact, I found the one that goes to the rubber. I'll put that back in when it comes. Now this is the front pillar, so there's no sticky on the back of this, but if you have any questions, the notch goes at the top. That's where your screw comes through, right there. And then the bottom seats all the way down in there. So what I do is I put the bottom in first, make sure it's seated like that, line it up, and then just pop it in. And that's it. That's all you got to do for the front. For the back has a sticky tab on it, but I essentially do the same thing, right? There's your notch that your screw goes in right there. I will seat this where it needs to be, and obviously that's where this is where your oh, I got some stuff there I need to take off. That would have been bad, huh? Good thing I'm doing a video. But anyway, I'll get a razor blade on that and get that off. But that's where your stick goes, and you can do it after you get it seated, but before you pop these in place, just pull your stick off, then pop it in, seat this nicely, and they'll be in. Next video, you'll see them in. All right, so this one is a pain in the keister because it's got a pull tab and two lips. So one of them goes right underneath there, and the other one comes right up on top. But before you get it seated, you got to pull that red tab, just like I showed you on the sidebar, and it's in. It's going to take a lot of finagling. Be patient, don't bend it, and you should be good. I gotta use two hands, so just know, get the bottom lip on there first, pull the tab, then seat the top. All right? So in last video, when you're putting this top one on, get that bottom one seated, take your strip off, and then the bolt holds, wherever the heck it went, right there, it holds this end on. And one other thing, you remember I told you I lost that little nipple when I was taking the old one off? The new rubber comes with it. So all you gotta do is pop that in there and it's all set. I'll go screw up the back one and then we'll wrap up the video. Okay, there we go, finished product. Everything looks like it's seated properly. I'm gonna take it for a test drive to make sure there's no wind reverberation or anything like that. If there is, I'll come back and do another video, but I think this is gonna be the last segment of this video. So I showed you the packing list earlier. There's 10 parts. in all, 6 pillars and 3 pieces of chrome, or 4 pieces of chrome, sorry. And that cost me about 300 bucks. So the estimate I got was $600 from the body shop. For half the price I did this, and I used a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a razor blade. So saved myself 300 bucks. If you have to save to do it, don't try to pull the chrome off first. It will look like crap. Just save for it and take the chrome off with the whole pillar. Don't try to take that chrome off the existing pillar. It just, you can't do it. Anyway, have a great time. I hope this helps somebody.